Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The three is in the air. I'm your orange hair having, whiter than a vegan cookout host. My name is Mario, and today we're going over the NL Central. We went over the NL East last time, and I got my man Pat with me here once again.
What's up, you guys? I really like this division a lot. It's a lot of big names, big great individual baseball players in this division. Um, a lot of teams competing for the number one spot in this division. I feel like any of the four teams we're going to go over that have a chance of winning this division, they could kind of make a World Series run if everything goes right.
Agreed.
So it's just one of those stacked divisions. It's going to be a bloodbath, really entertaining. A lot of close games. Every division game is going to count no matter what. So we'll see what happens.
I would have to agree with that. I think pretty set in stone that 4 out of the 5 teams have a legit shot at winning it. That doesn't mean any of the 4, in my opinion, will be dominant, but 4 of the 5 have a chance to win it. So let's kick things off in alphabetical order, of course. So let's start off with your favorite team in the world, the Chicago Cubs. How you feel?
They're not my favorite team in the world. I hate the Chicago Cubs.
Fuck the Cubs.
They ruined my life. The Cubs, they still have the same core from the 2016 World Series and but anyways, they have a pretty decent roster. They lost a lot of free agents.
Yes.
Cole Hamels, Nick Castellanos could help. They still have Addison Russell, but he hasn't been picked up. Steve Cishek left from their bullpen. Dave Phelps, Pedro Strop was another big name that left from their bullpen as well. They still got Chris Bryant, and luckily for them, the time servers grievance that he had fell on their side, so they still have him for another 2 years. They got Anthony Rizzo. Javier Baez has really launched himself into superstardom. Kyle Schwarber's taking that next step. Wilson Contreras is still Wilson Contreras. Jason Hayward is going to give you Gold Glove defense, but he hasn't been the same hitter that he was in Atlanta or St. Louis.
League average player.
Yeah, league average player, but
yeah, he's not the same. When I look at the Cubs, I think that there's to me the position player group I think looks pretty damn strong. Like I'm just looking at the top 5 of the lineup. Like I can order like Chris Bryant, Rizzo, Baez, Schwarber, Contreras. That's really good.
That's a pretty good top 5.
That's a really good top 5. And the thing is, like you said, like Jason Hayward, league average player, Ian Happ, David Bodie. They got the number 1 prospect, Nico Horner. I think that's how you say it. He should be covering that hole at second base. Like the position player group, I think should be pretty damn solid. The one thing that would kind of worry me if I was a Cubs fan though is the pitching, both rotation and bullpen. Would you agree?
The rotation, somewhat. The bullpen, absolutely. But with the bullpen, they signed Jeremy Jeffers.
Yeah.
So and there's a chance he could bounce back from the bad season he had with the Brewers last year.
Yeah, he's got a good splitter.
He has a very good splitter. He's filthy when he's has his stuff together. I think Craig Kimbrell was a risk worth taking.
I agree.
And
he got a lot of shit for that.
Yeah, they did, but I think they gave him a little bit too much money. But at the same time, when you have a elite reliever like Craig Kimbrell, you take that chance whenever you can. Yeah, especially with the state of the bullpen. But for me, I don't know how to feel about the Cubs. Honestly, I know they can compete just based on their position player core, and then you have Yu Darvish and John Lester and Kyle Hendricks. That's a pretty good top 3, and if they can keep it together, that's really good veterans. All of them.
I read a comment on, well, not a comment, but like the Fangraphs article of the SIPS prediction for the Cubs 2020. They said John Lester at this point, he's fully in the crafty left-hander stage of his career. I think that's a fucking accurate
I
description
do
of
too.
him.
He's really just an innings eater.
Yeah,
he's going to give you 170, 200 innings.
Yes,
and that's about the most you could expect at this point.
Yeah, ERA around 4, like that's what he's gonna give you.
Yeah, but in the playoffs, you know he's gonna show up and play up. So
yeah,
that's the goal.
That's it. I said I was worried about the rotation and the bullpen because, I mean, I feel like John Lester, like he's clearly a back end of the rotation guy at this point. Jose Quintana, he hasn't been for the Cubs what they thought he could have been. And really the only two pitchers that I can say like, okay, I trust them in a big game, like, you know, Lester aside, would be obviously Yu Darvish, if you buy into what he did in the second half last year, which I do, and then Kyle Hendricks. But I feel like it's a bit thin on the back, towards the back end, and the bullpen. Just, I mean, you said it already. They lost Pedro Strop. Craig Kimbrell, I would assume everyone expects some sort of a bounce back, but even with him bouncing back, like there's just not much else in the bullpen. And yeah, like what you said, like you kind of like don't know what to say about the Cubs. I kind of agree because like this is a team, like when you look at it on paper, they feel like a team that should win anywhere between 85 to 90 games, even 90 plus if they play well. The one thing they did do as you know, quote unquote change, is they went for a new manager. They fired Joe Madden, which I think was justified, and they brought back David Ross. You agree with that? I don't know about it.
So the David Ross signing, it fits just based on the fact that there's a lot of managers that are former players and they're somewhat young coming into the mix now, and a lot of teams, and it's happened in big markets, especially. You know, with Boston, formerly before he got fired, New York. Yeah, it's justifiable. But there's a lot that it's a hit or miss thing. It could really go well or it could go really bad.
Yeah, especially. But I feel like
but I think David Ross has respect in that clubhouse.
That's what's good. Catchers do tend to be good managers.
Yes, they do, because catchers are really the most intelligent guys on the team from a baseball IQ standpoint. Because they're like a linebacker and a safety put together.
Yeah, they're the Mike linebacker. Yeah, pretty much. So the Cubs. Do you have a win-loss record prediction for them?
I said last year they went 84 and 78, so I think they can do that. I think they could go anywhere. Any of the 4 teams we're going to talk about that might make that might make a run for the division crown. They could win anywhere from 80 games up. This a regular season, but it's not. So
yeah, if I had to go with a prediction, I would say probably 86 wins, somewhere around that, because the top-notch talent especially on the position player side is too much to fail as bad. Because let's not forget, they won 84 games last year, right? And they lost 9 straight in September.
At the end of the season, that just completely fell
straight.
apart.
And that included getting swept by the Pirates, which we'll talk about later in the episode, which is really humiliating. So the Cubs, I don't really have a whole lot else to say about it, really. They just feel like that team that's been underachieving for a while, because each year after winning the World Series, each year they've performed a little bit worse. 2017, they got smoked in the NLCS. 2018, they lost to us in the wildcard game somehow. And 2019, missed the playoffs. So, do we both agree that they're kind of like somewhere around that, 83, 82, 84 win space?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay. So that kind of makes sense. Fuck the Cubs, by the way.
I agree. I really agree.
Fuck the Cubs, man. Next up, the Cincinnati Reds. This is a team that we've talked about a lot off the air, and we talked a lot. And you and I have a little bit of a differing opinions when it comes to the Reds. I think we both feel like they have a ton of potential, but I think I'm a bit more skeptical about it than you are. I see the signings, right? Like, Mustakas. I see, Castellanos. They signed Wade Miley, who will eat, some innings back there. But like I see a lot of different pieces, but I'm not sure how they will fit. That's really what I'm saying here.
Yeah. So another signing that they made, they went over to Japan and signed Shogo Akiyama.
Yeah.
Center fielder.
Talk about him later. Yeah.
I think he's a pretty good pickup, and because it allows them to take Nick Senzel out of center field, and they could put him back on the infield, kind of have a bouncer out as a super utility guy. They signed Freddie Galvis, so I think he's going to be their shortstop.
I don't know about that. I think they're one of those teams that, say for example, if the Rockies, versus for some grace of God, actually decided they wanted to rebuild and trade people, they're a team that I would be penciled in for trading for someone like Trevor Story, or signing one of those elite shortstops in 2 years.
Yeah, I think they could. They might make a run at Francisco Lindor too.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it because
no. There's this interesting tidbit. So when Francisco Lindor was in high school, he trained with Barry Larkin.
That's good company right there.
Yes, that is. And Barry Larkin is easily the best shortstop in history of the Cincinnati Reds. And so I think that's kind of interesting linkage for me, because Barry Larkin is one of his mentors, and that would be a really good fit. If I want to see Frankie go anywhere, it would be the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah,
just because their baseball history, Cincinnati has.
They're a really old team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they have a great history with Black and Latino players as well.
Yeah. So you said Shogo Akiyama. I was going to talk about that because before they signed Castellanos, one of the questions I had was, okay, like they have a lot of young outfielders, but they only have 3 spaces, so someone's going to be left out. Aquino, Jesse Winker, Tencel, Akiyama. Now that they signed Castellanos, now that takes away right field. So all those players, with the exception of Senzel, maybe they'll compete for 2 spots. Aquino had a monster start to his career last year, but then cooled off a lot. I think he had like an OPS of like 550 September, something like that. So I think it's a little bit of a stretch to believe in him completely, though.
Yeah, I agree with you for that. I feel like if Aristides Aquino does become a full-time player and serviceable, he might be like a Nick Castellanos maybe. Or actually, I think his ceiling is
he's got great power.
He has amazing power. It's ridiculous when he puts the bat on the ball and you really connect with the one.
He's got one of the best looking stances in baseball.
It's really interesting too. But I really like their lineup. I like the signings they made. I like the trades they made. For a minute, it seemed like they didn't know what they were doing, but it seemed pretty respectable up to this point. Yeah. They have so far for their lineup. To me, I think it's going to be Shogo, Votto, Eugenio Suarez, and he was really underrated last year because he had like 47 home runs.
I think he did hit 47.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. They got Moose and Nick Castellanos behind him. They still got Jesse Winker. I think he's going to be their everyday left fielder. Although he might platoon with Aristides Aquino or Nick Senzel maybe. I think Freddie Galvis is going to start at shortstop. I think Nick Senzel can play.
A little bit back healthy. Of a stopgap, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And they have Tucker Barnhart behind plate, and he's been pretty decent for a catcher. So.
My key here is, and like we've talked about previously, my key here is Joey Votto, because he's had downswings before, but they were never as bad as his 2019, and he is 36 years old. If Votto, I don't want to go and say, if he returns to MVP level, because I think that's kind of asking for too much. But if Votto just he goes back to like 130 OPS plus, 135 OPS plus type of player, I think this lineup will be good. The one thing I don't like is team defense, but you know, when the rotation is as good as it is, and they have the stuff that they have, you should get less ground balls. So that's a good segue to talk about the rotation. We're going to talk about that because, if I'm not mistaken, just like 2-3 years ago, the Reds' main issue was that they couldn't pitch, and now they have one of the best top threes in the world.
Yeah, Luis Castillo's breakout year last season was amazing to watch, and
disgusting changeup.
His changeup is ridiculous. It's faster than some people's fastballs. It's crazy.
Felix like.
Yeah. Sonny Gray really bounced back after he got traded from the Yankees, and I kind of expected that. I think some pitchers just don't do well having a catch to Gary Sanchez.
Yeah, he is.
He's a little rough back there. Yeah. But because the interesting tidbit, people like to blame it on being in New York, but when he was whenever he pitched Austin Romine, his ERA dropped by like 2 home runs when he was in New York. I think people forget that.
Yeah, like there's a reason why personal catchers exist. Catcher pitcher. It's not just pitcher. Like catcher plays a huge part in what.
It's like when Trevor Bauer, he will only pitch to Roberto Perez
and I think that might have something to do with the really poor performance he had. Trevor Bauer did as a Red, because he was bad in Cincinnati.
Yeah, but he was also kind of bad in Cleveland too last year.
That's true. That's true.
He was really inconsistent, and but he was also pitching hurt too, because he had a lot of injuries last year.
I think it's fair to expect that he'll go back to 2018 form. I think that's fair.
I think he's going to give you 180, 200 innings no matter what. And then he has a rubber arm, so he's gonna give you 110, 115 pitches a game.
Yeah, he's gonna strike motherfuckers out. Another thing I really like about the Reds is that they don't just have a good top three; they have a good back end of the rotation too. Because Anthony DeSclafani, he's good.
Yes.
And Wade Miley, I mentioned him before. He had a weird season last year because in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, his ERA was like around 2.
Oh, he was in the Cy Young contending in the first half of the season last year.
He was insane the first half, and then the second half, he had. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if I had to bet, I say his ERA was higher than 7 in the second half.
I'm gonna look up his numbers right now.
Yeah, so when you do that,
he get let up last season. If I'm not mistaken.
So, I mean, it's not fair to expect first half Wade Miley again, but it's also not fair to expect second half Wade Miley, because that's just ridiculous. So I think that the fact that he's the clearly defined number 5 in the rotation, you're not depending on him for anything major, is really good, because he's a veteran. He can, hit some innings, and that's really good for a team like this. So you got his ERA in the second half?
Yeah, it was a 5.07 ERA in the second half.
I thought it was higher than that.
With 1.6 whip.
Oof.
Man, so in the second half, opposing hitters hit 292, 361, 449.
Ooh, that's bad.
That's awful.
That's bad even at a hitter's park.
Yes.
That's really bad. But yeah. So that's the back end of the rotation. Just listing the rotation from top to bottom. Luis Castillo, ace. Sonny Gray, I don't know if I'll call him ace, but top of the rotation pitcher. Trevor Bauer, top of the rotation pitcher. Anthony DeSclafani, really good number 4. Wade Miley, really good number 5. Pitching rotation is the strength of this team.
Yes.
Clearly.
And they have a really good pitching coach as well.
Yes. Yeah. The one thing that I'm a bit more skeptical about is the bullpen. even though Amir Garrett is the funniest motherfucker in the world.
I think their bullpen might be really good.
You do?
I think Razel Iglesias, he's consistent. He's not amazing, and he's not a Aroldis Chapman, but he was a pretty good follow up to Aroldis Chapman. Michael Lorenzen is pretty good, and he's a pretty good hitter as well. And I think it's really cool that they kind of have him as like a little bit of a two-way player.
It's cool that they allow it, yeah.
Yeah, Amir Garrett is going to be decent. He hasn't really put it all together yet, but
no, he hasn't.
But I think he can.
He's got the frame for it.
He has a frame for it for sure. Pedro Strop was a good signing.
I forgot they signed him.
Yeah, they did.
You're right. That's a good signing.
So I think that's a pretty good closing to have their 7th, 8th, and it just depends how their middle setup goes and how they do that.
Yeah.
But
I still feel like the bullpen is one arm away from being
I agree.
solidly above average group, but I think they could be passable.
I agree.
And with how good the rotation is, of course, less wear and tear on the bullpen, so that's always better for you. But like the rest, I just feel like they lack one more bat and one more bullpen arm. Like the one more bat may be Votto, but if it's not him, then they lack that, and the one more bullpen arm, which we've already talked about. So I don't really know what to predict, because if all the pieces mesh together well, I can see this team winning 85 plus games. But if they don't, and Votto, keeps declining, and they have trouble with team defense, which is a thing that's really gonna suck for them. If the pieces don't mesh well and Trevor Bauer keeps underperforming, and Wade Miley doesn't perform well, the bullpen is kind of meh, I can also see this team winning just 70 some games.
Yeah, I agree. It's a high ceiling team, but also has a low floor.
Yeah, it's not a safe pick at all.
Yeah, it's not a safe pick at all, for sure. I agree.
Not a safe pick. If I had to bet, I'd say somewhere just below 500. That's just me. Like 80 wins.
I think anywhere from 80 wins to 85. But they could get an extra 4 wins in a tight division race.
I think it's fair. Now keep in mind that we said the Cubs would be around the mid 80s, 84 wins, 83, 84. Now we're saying the Reds 80, 82, right? So keep track of this, because every team basically is going to be like this. We're going to say all this. So yeah, you got anything more on the Reds? Because I really don't. I don't.
I think we covered it all for sure.
I think we did a pretty good job. So moving on, next team. This team made the wild card last year, second wild card in the National League. They had a lead in the wild card game. They put their best reliever on the mound, and he blew it. The Milwaukee Brewers. I don't know about you, but they were a team that felt really disappointing to me last year off of what they did in 2018. And I'm not sure, like, kind of where they go, because I feel like they're going to fall a little bit short this year again.
The Brewers are weird to me. Just a very weird team.
I agree.
They had a lot of free agency departures.
Grandal.
Yes, that's a big one. Moose.
Moustakas.
Drew Pomeranz, Gio Gonzalez, Jeremy Efers.
They lost a ton of players.
Junior Guerrera.
Yeah.
And they also made some free agent signings as well, and some pretty smart ones. I think Eric Sogard was a nice signing. Justin Smoke was a pretty nice signing. Obviously, Avisaíl Garcia, he's not amazing, but he's still serviceable. They traded for Omar Narvaez. They also traded for Luis Urias, the shortstop prospect from.
He might replace Orlando Arcia.
I think he should, just because of his bat. He's not as good as defender Arcia, but Arcia's been a black hole for a long time.
Yeah. Like 600 OPS type.
Then they still have. They got Manny Pena for the backup catcher. They got Ryan Brown still. They got Brock Holt. They signed him. They got Jag Yorko and Ben Gamble.
I think Ryan Braun might start seeing time at first base at this point.
He should. He's kind of old and aging, but he still has to play the rest of that contract out as well.
Yeah. The one player I'm keeping an eye on as far as we're doing position plays right now. Lorenzo Cain. He's still Gold Glove defender, of course, but he's at an age in which kind of like the decline can start happening at any point now, and he already had a bad season with the bat last year, so I'm looking forward to see what he does, because
wasn't he injured last year?
I don't recall him being injured.
Oh, we'll look it up.
I may be wrong though. But I mean, that would explain it, because the previous year he was really good.
Oh no, he was healthy. He put up a 3 WAR season last year, which was pretty decent. But
it's decent, but it's not like
only 81 OPS. So that was
for a team like this, right? That also seems to be going towards like 80, 81, 82 wins. Like teams like this, they need to get every win they can get.
Yes.
So, like just seeing Lorenzo Cain go back to a good level, that would be really good for him. Keston Hiura, I'm pretty sure his BABIP was like 400 last year.
And honestly, he's that good of a hitter to where it's sustainable, because he's gonna hit the crap out of the ball.
Yeah.
And he's gonna strike out a lot. But for a catcher, for a second baseman, he has elite power. He's gonna give you 20, 25, maybe 30 home runs.
Especially in that ballpark.
Yeah, him and Yelich are gonna be the main pieces to that lineup.
Yeah, this is the first time we mentioned him, Yelich.
Honestly, we know what to expect from Yelich at this point. He should have won MVP last year. I mean, he should have won it because of that freak injury. Because he could have gone for the Triple Crown last year for sure.
His OPS last year was 1100.
It's ridiculous.
That's fucking stupid.
He had a 568 slugging. Like, no one expected this.
He's fucking ridiculous. It has been such a weird transition, and he's a weird hitter too, because a lot of the guys who hit the ball as hard as he does hit it in the air a lot more than he does. He hits a lot of ground balls.
He does. He's a really good ground ball hitter. He knows how to drive pitches. He can go center, left, and right.
I thought he got underpaid.
Honestly, he wanted to stay. He approached them for the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it makes sense to me why he did it, because I guess he likes the organization and likes the city a lot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, 7 years. But it rounds out to 9 years, 215. But at the same time, can he sustain these numbers for another 2 years, and then he reaches free agency at 31?
Yeah, the value will be there. So.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he could bet himself, and he can make that bet for sure. But at the same time, no one knows and a lot of players are also signing deals because of the CBA expiring in 2021.
Yeah, they don't know what's
no one knows what's going to happen, and this pandemic just adds even more uncertainty to that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So who knows?
Yeah, but like when you look at the lineup, I would say Yelich, well, Keston Hiura too, but Yelich is the clear, like, obvious superstar of this lineup. Keston Hiura is the only other guy I can see maybe making an all-star team. That's how I can put it.
I agree.
I feel like they're lacking bats.
I agree.
Lacking bats. Losing Grandal, we mentioned it briefly. That's a huge loss for them.
Yes, but at the same time, they weren't going to be able to afford him anyways.
Yeah, but that's going to suck, replacing that production and all those walks. So the pitching, the Brewers, of course, they're famous, or depending on who you ask, infamous for how they use their bullpen and how they use their rotation. I feel like it's the same story as last year. There's nothing dominant in this rotation at all.
I think Brandon Woodruff.
Oh yeah. You're right. I forgot about him. So aside from Woodruff, because I did forget about him, because he's beast. Aside from him, I don't see anything like dominant.
Me either. There's just a whole bunch of the 3s and 4s that could be decent.
Yeah.
But they know how to develop pitching and know how to use pitching. So
yeah.
And their manager can somehow get to Josh Hader every time. It's just
they got to watch for his workload though.
Yeah, they do.
Because they just keep throwing him out there, and he's gonna collapse again. So
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
I mean, I know, but they gotta kind of they gotta watch out, because I thought they had a really good shot in 2018 at beating the Dodgers, because that was the year the Dodgers were really vulnerable in, and I thought they kind of wasted it. Last year they disappointed me. I just don't see, like, it feels like an incomplete team. I guess that's where I'm going with this. It feels like this team is lacking things. They're lacking 1 or 2 more bats. They lack 1 or 2 more top of the rotation pitchers. The bullpen's good. The manager is good. But I feel like they might just fall a little bit short, especially with the kind of competition on this, in this division. All it takes is for one team not called the Brewers to really click, and then someone might wind up with 90 losses because of it.
I agree. Or maybe one injury.
Yeah. All it takes is for one key player to get hurt again, and that's really fragile way to go about things.
Yes.
That's really fragile. And also, I mean, you're more aware of this than me. The farm system, from everything I know, is one of the worst in baseball.
It's awful.
Yeah. So my facts are correct. I've heard it called the worst in the league.
It probably is the worst in the NL.
So they have no reinforcements coming in the near future, really.
Well, no notable pieces coming, but at the same time, there could be some random guy that just breaks out. For some reason, that happens a lot with the Brewers.
Yeah. But yeah, I just don't know where to go with them. Do you have a win prediction for them? Because I don't at all.
I think they win around 84 or 80. It's going to be in the 80 game range, I think, again. I could see them finishing 81, 81 maybe.
Yeah. I'm going to go a bit lower than that.
75.
I'm going to go 77 wins, somewhere like that.
Okay, 77 to 81.
Yeah, I just think someone, is what I said before. I just think that this division is so close that someone's going to have to take the losses somewhere. And like from all 4 teams, I can really see, well, Brewers and the Cardinals, I think, are 2 flawed teams. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I just, let me put it like this. 20 million things would have to go right at the same time, in my opinion, for the Brewers to even sniff 90 wins. Like, everything would go right.
I agree.
It's just no way. So yeah. You said 81, around 500. I said somewhere around 77, 78, 79 wins. I think we're a bit less enthusiastic about them than the Reds and the Cubs. But yeah, they might have trouble. So 4 team in the division now. Now this is the team that we've been talking about, how 4 of the 5 teams could legit, win the division realistically. The 5th team is the one we got to talk about now. That's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, to their credit, they did what they had to do. They fired Clint Hurdle. They fired Neil Huntington. Everyone gone. They traded Starling Marte. Like, they've started the rebuild.
Yes.
I think it's going to be, and that's actually something that I can give them props for. It's much better than being stuck pretending you're something. So at least they did that. One question. Do you think Josh Bell will be a part of this team 2 years from now?
Maybe.
I don't think so, because they're starting out the rebuild.
I mean,
and
someone could trade for him. Honestly, that does make sense.
I just think that they're too far removed from actually competing to where to the point where when they compete again, Josh Bell will be probably expensive.
Yeah, I agree.
So they might.
They still gonna trade Gregory Polanco too.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian Reynolds will probably stay with the team because he just came up.
Yeah, he's gonna be pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
He was. They have a really good bullpen too. I mean, not bullpen, farm system. I'm sorry.
Farm system, they do. The bullpen, I was about to say, no, especially with their best pitcher coming out to be a fucking psycho.
Yeah, we're not even gonna get into that because that was so disappointing. And the crazy thing about it was I was going to write an article about him for my Black Baseball Players series, and just happened today. I was writing an article and I was sick.
Holy shit! He's weirdo.
Yeah, we're not even getting into that. But anyways, the Pirates they got rid of Clint Hurdle and the rest of that front office because it was terrible. The trades they made, especially the Chris Archer trade.
Oh, that Chris Archer trade has to be the worst trade I've ever seen in my life. At least in the past 5 years.
It's one of the worst of the decade for sure. Easily. Ooh. You don't Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows, and Shane Bass. All of them have potential to be all-stars.
Jesus Christ.
For Chris Archer. What are you doing? And then the Garrett Cole trade was terrible as well.
Absolutely. They were wasting him. Really wasting him.
Yeah.
How do you take a guy with the curveball on the slider like that, and who can throw 98 and tell him go pitch to contact?
I mean, yeah, honestly, you make him throw sinkers instead of four seamers. What are you?
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. They need to get rid of that their manager too, because he's kind of the reason for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point they might just keep some of the personnel around in the next 2 to 3 years just for continuity, since the team's not going to be good anyway. And really, I mean, that's it.
I agree. But the players they have coming up the pipeline in the next few years, I really like.
Brian Hayes.
Yes, I love that kid.
Yes. That's a Gold Glove player right there.
Easily. They still got Jameson Taillon. They got Mitch Keller too.
Yeah. So
that's 2 starting pitchers they could build off of. Nick Birdie, I think, is going to be their closer in the future. He has filthy stuff. They still got Keon Kala, and he might be a good trade piece. Kyle Crook too.
Yeah. Josh Bell, Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, Josh Bell, maybe Brian Reynolds. Chris Archer, if he bounces back, maybe they can trade him. Joe Musgrove as well. He's only 27.
About Chris Archer, I looked it up. He actually performed pretty well in the second half when he ditched the sinker completely. He went back to 4-seam slider. He performed.
That's one thing about the Pirates. They make all their pitchers sell sinkers, and it's no.
Sounds like the Rockies.
You got to throw up in the zone now. You throw a sinker in the lower third of the zone, he's going to get destroyed every time.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that more when we get to the National League West and the Rockies. I will scream a lot in that preview. But yeah, the Pirates, they're going to be a quick preview for us because really the only good thing I can say about them is they fired who they had to fire, and they're waiting for people, and their stadium is, the ballpark's dope. That's the only good thing I can say about it.
The ballpark is really beautiful.
Beautiful fucking ballpark. It's going to be real fucking empty too in the next few years.
Yes, it is.
So, I don't have a win. I don't have a record prediction for the Pirates because it really doesn't matter because they would want to lose 110 games. But do you think they'll lose more or less games than the, say, Marlins?
I think they lose more games than the Marlins.
I agree. Than the Tigers?
No, the Tigers are gonna lose a lot. Actually, no. The Tigers made some free agent signings, some veterans last year that I kind of like.
Yeah, they have good pitching prospects too.
Casey Mize and Matt Manning are great.
Yeah. That's the Pirates for y'all. They're gonna be Honestly, since all four teams aside from them are competent, I think the Pirates might lose a lot of games just off of that.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
they
It will
might
be a
look a
punching
lot
bag
a
for
lot
sure.
worse than they are.
Yes.
So yeah, the ballpark's dope, but that's really all they got going for them. So now for the last team, and the team I like to call the San Antonio Spurs of baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. They won the division last year. They did themselves no favors. They almost lost it, almost blew it to the Brewers in the final few games. Um, but then they went and they did the unthinkable to me. They beat the Braves in the NLDS. I had the Braves pretty much sweeping them. I don't know if you did.
I actually had to go on 5 games. I thought it was gonna be a close series, just because the Braves are so young and a lot of players
Okay,
on the St. Louis Cardinals have better experience.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so series was tied 2-2. Then they scored 10 runs in the first, and they killed every hope Braves fans had. Then they got humiliated themselves in the NLCS by the Nets. And when I say humiliated, I mean they just got smoked, and it was bad. And the team is pretty much the same as it was last year too. They did barely anything.
Yeah. I actually had the Nationals going to the World Series. I thought it was just their year, and
Yeah,
it was a buzzsaw. But at the same time, the Cardinals played terribly.
they have no bats. Like, and I've talked about this a lot in the offseason because teams that stay, stagnant and don't make moves to take advantage really frustrate me.
I think I actually like their lineup.
You do?
Yeah, I mean, um, Matt Carpenter was kind of last year, but I think he could bounce back. Um, Nobody expected. Everybody thought Paul Goldschmidt was going to light the world on fire again, but he didn't. That's a surprise. Paul DeJong going to get 25, 30 homers at the shortstop, and he's going to play good defense. Holding along. He's going to give you 20 on the bases. Go glove defense at second.
I'll fuck with him.
Highlight reels after highlight reels. And he's going to get on base. He has a really good eye at the plate, but he's not getting for much power. We all know what Yachty is going to bring to the table every year.
Yeah.
I love Yachty. I'm going to miss him when he retires.
I hope he doesn't play for other team.
No, he's not. I doubt it. And he's actually going to play in 2021 too. Him and Wayno confirmed it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Especially, I think this shortened season this year is going to give a lot of older veterans.
Have some fresher legs.
Yeah, like now that Corey Kluber is gone, just a segue. I feel like he's going to come back really good now. So, but Tommy Edman, I think he's going to be pretty good. You can't get on base or anything though. And Harrison Bader is kind of a black hole in center field, but he plays really good defense.
If he can be just average hitter, that's a valuable player.
Yeah, he's kind of like defender. He's kind of like Billy Hamilton light.
Yeah.
Their bench is pretty decent. Matt Wieters, Brian Miller, Rangel Ravelo, Tyler O'Neill, and Lane Thomas. And their rotation, I like it a lot.
I don't know as much actually.
Jack Flaherty and C-Mart is a pretty nice top two. Dakota Hudson, Wayno, and Miles Mikolas are kind of like number 4 guys at this point.
Yeah, I have doubts about the rotation. I think we both believe in Jack Flaherty completely.
Yeah, he's like reminding me of Shane Bieber a lot.
He's ace. I think we both believe him. But behind him, I got questions about every other starter. Obviously, Wayno, he's old. Even though he doesn't, rely on velocity, his command can go like that, and he can be in trouble. But I think he'll be serviceable at the back end. Carlos Martinez, he has some health issues, and staying as a starter. So we got to see with that. And Michaelis and Hudson don't impress me at all. So that's my thing with the Cardinals rotation. the ace is there, the big time ace is there, and I see the good, solid backhand pitchers, but I don't see defined number two. That's my problem with it. And the lineup, I have a lot of issues with the lineup because the lineup was already bad last year. They struggled mightily to score runs. And the fact that they lost Ozuna, who wasn't, a world beater or anything in St. Louis, but he was second best hitter on the team, basically. I think it's fair to expect Goldie to, I don't know if, 2017 Goldie, but I think it's fair to expect him to perform better than he did last year because, Busch Stadium is probably the definition of a pitcher's park. And I like Colton Wong. He gets on base. He's a good, top of the order guy. I like Paul DeJong, but he doesn't get on base a whole lot. Tommy Edman, I fuck with him, but he's due for regression, in my opinion. Even if that's counteracted with him just naturally improving. And I think Dexter Fowler and Matt Carpenter are both done at the plate, and so is Yadi.
Yeah, Yadi is for sure.
When I heard all those rumors, about the Cardinals trading for Nolan, as much as I would have killed myself if that would actually happen, it made perfect sense. Like, this team really needs 1, 2, maybe 3 more bats. So, them acquiring Nolan, that would make the infield disgusting defensively, by the way, and would give them the bat they need. I think the only solution this offense has is if Goldie goes back to, good level, Matt Carpenter bounces back, Paul DeJong and Colton Wong keep improving, Tommy Edman maintains his level, and they get Dylan Carlson. He comes up and he kills it.
Dylan
or Dylan?
Dylan.
Okay. Fucked up his name. But so unless Dylan Carlson comes up and fucks up, and fucks shit up immediately, I don't see this lineup being like even top 10 in the National League. Like, they're gonna be bottom 5 to me.
Yeah. So I think this is gonna be, with the Cardinals, pitching and defense.
Yeah, like last year.
Yeah, basically last year.
Bullpen's really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Jordan Hicks had TJ surgery, so.
Well, I'm kind of counting on Carlos Martinez as a reliever at this point.
He could be the closer. That does make sense because of his injury history.
Yeah.
You also have Alex Reyes, and he was supposed to be really good, and he has injury history as well, so he might wind up being in the bullpen really soon.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the Cardinals, you always gotta count them in because they always have some random guys that are like minor league depth that wind up being average to above average major league players.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. It's just
the
the Cardinals and the Indians are kind of like the two main teams that somehow do this. Like, they have Andrew Nizer, and he might be in MLB soon, and he's a catcher, and he might follow up Yadi. And if everybody is a good mentor and learn from, is Yadier Molina, who's probably a Hall of Famer, most likely a Hall of Famer.
I would hope he is.
He should be. Him and Joe Mauer should be Hall of Famers, but that's another conversation.
I think Yadi will make it, but Joe Mauer, I would vote for him, but I don't think voters will.
I think Joe Mauer could get in just because a lot of catchers with injury history kind of get in. Because I remember before he had a concussion on that foul ball,
he was a killer.
Some Mets player, he was on track to be one of the best catchers ever. 3,000 hits, everything.
Yeah.
And he has 4 Gold Gloves, 3 Silver Sluggers, and I can't believe I'm sticking up for Joe Mauer as a Cleveland Indians fan, but it's 2020 and crazy things are happening. Nothing is normal anymore. So it is what it is. With the Cardinals, I think some way they wind up competing for the division just because it's the Cardinals. They had managerial issues with Matt Mahaney as their manager, but they switched up, and their new manager is really good. I like him. He seems to have respect of the team. I think this team can win 83 games in the minimum, just because they somehow put the pieces together.
High floor team.
Yeah, high floor team.
But low ceiling though.
Yeah, low ceiling. I don't think they make a World Series run unless they just get the momentum and run with it. I think I think the NL Central gives us a wild card team as well.
I would not be surprised if that happened, but
I think if three out of the four teams that are competing for division, if they don't get the division, then one of them or maybe both of them might be going for the wild card. That could happen.
Pick the Mets or the Nats over one of these teams, though.
True,
but I do agree. But I do agree. We'll get a wild card team out of the Central.
Okay. But yeah, this division is really going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
For the next few years. There's a lot of good front offices in this division. A lot of good managers. These teams have a lot of history, and there's great rivalries in this division as well. So
yeah,
a lot of history, a lot of baseball history.
I'm kind of scared to do like predictions for the final standings of the division because I did have no fucking clue what to say.
I don't know. I mean, we could just say that the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Reds, and the Cubs are all gonna be somewhere around 80 games, and that's about as accurate as it's gonna get, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think about it. Like, I feel like on paper, the Cubs should win the division. That's just me. Like on paper,
I think paper the Reds should just kind of they're more. I think they have the least amount of holes in their roster construction compared to the other teams.
That's fair. I feel like I'm going for the Cubs because I know what I'm gonna get.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Cubs are reasonable. The Cubs, they have the experience. They're a safe pick, and they should be the safe pick. Because we talk about a team that has Chris Bryant, Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo.
And they somehow only won 84 games last
year. Yeah, they really shat the bed last year.
They did. How do you get swept by the Pirates? Anyway, if I had to pick my standings, I go Cubs 1, I go Cardinals 2, I go Reds 3, Brewers, and then the Pirates, of course. I think you can flip-flop the Cardinals and the Reds for me.
Yeah, you can. So I think you flip-flop any of the four teams in the top four spots. But I would go I think I'm going to go Reds first.
That's fair.
Cardinals second. Cubs third. Brewers fourth. And the Pirates fifth. But with any of the top four, they can be bounced around just based on how competitive the division is going to be.
I feel like this division might not see a 90-game winner.
I agree. Most maybe 80 to 89 at the most. Yeah, and that could be any of the four teams if they catch momentum at the right time.
I mean, I just can't really say because I find most teams in this division are flawed in some way. So that makes them all vulnerable. Let's just put it like that.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so that was, if I think we're done, that was the National League Central. Y'all got the gist of it. We're both kind of like not knowing how to predict because this division just feels like a crapshoot, really. Just feels like any one of four teams, if they get the momentum, like Pat said, at the right time, they could all make a run for it. I would be shocked. Let me put it like this. I'd be shocked, though, if any of these teams made it to the NLCS. But I think it's very likely that we get two playoff teams out of this.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Yeah, they all feel like teams that have really big flaws that will keep them from being serious contenders, because that would imply having to beat the Braves and the Dodgers, and I just don't see it. But yeah, that was the NL Central. So I'll leave link, like I said, like I did last time, to all Pat shit down below. Go follow him. Go follow what he does. He mentioned the series that he's doing called, Black Baseball Players You Need to Know About. Go check that shit out. And yeah, have a good one, y'all. Peace.
Peace.